Hi guys, Jackie here with Effectus Athletics, and today we're going to be covering the topic of muscle and the 3 things that you most likely don't know about muscle and what they can do for your health. So first and foremost, this is probably one of my favorite things to talk about. I get that a lot of us come in here because we want to change or make a physical change in how we look. We want to look better in our swimsuits, look better naked. I understand that. It gives us confidence in our everyday life when we feel better in our clothes and we feel better in our own skin. But I also want to give everyone a friendly reminder of some of the things that muscle can do for your body that we easily forget about or might not even know about to begin with. So first I'm going to kind of cover what is the best way to grow muscle? Like, how do we get stronger in the first place? There is a common myth, the no pain, no gain. And while it is true that you can create a large enough stimulus for muscle to grow by coming into the gym and just like completely wrecking yourself, meaning you're either doing super heavy loads or extremely high volume, and you can't walk for the next 3 days. So that's kind of the myth where you need, the myth of you have to break muscle down in order for it to rebuild or grow back stronger. And like I said, that's definitely one way that you could do that, but I don't think that's very fun. I mean, you're basically making yourself so sore that it's hard to move for the next few days, so just going to work, getting out of bed, going up and down stairs is hard to do, and you're just really uncomfortable, which on the flip side to that, you're most likely not going to want to come back into the gym if you're that sore. So what we believe is a better approach is training hard. I mean, not so hard that you're completely wrecking yourself, but the bigger one is training hard and consistent. That's one of the main reasons that we build out our memberships at a minimum of 3 times per week. We know that the more that you're getting in here, the more that you're going to be creating an environment and a stimulus for your body to want to create muscle. The other thing that's important as far as making muscle is giving your body what it needs to build muscle. So it takes a lot of energy for your body to build muscle. That usually comes from carbs and fats and eating enough protein. And so if your number one goal is to get bigger and to put on muscle mass, you have to be looking at your nutrition as well. The best environment is to have a surplus of calories or create what we call a hypercaloric environment. So you're just eating more calories than you're expending in a day. And also just making sure that we have that drip of consistent protein throughout the day. And so as we discussed in our protein video, your body just doesn't build muscle the second that you walk out our doors. It's a process that occurs over a few days, if not a week. And so making sure that not just directly after the workout you're eating protein, but you're constantly getting a drip of protein throughout the day and for many days to come. So anyways, I wanted to touch base. That's how we build muscle. That's how we get it in the first place. You do not have to come in here and wreck yourself. The no pain, no gain, while there is some truth to that, there's better ways to go about doing it. So just make sure that you're getting into the gym on a regular basis. Second, I read an interesting research piece that actually talked about 3 things being the most important indicators of how long you will live. But the 2 that really stuck out to me were lean mass and basically how strong your legs were. Those are the top 2 indicators of how long you were going to live. And I think if we look at that, I mean, a couple things, here's the critical point. I mean, for years, your heart was kind of like the center of the health universe, and I get that. You can't live without a heart. If your heart's not functioning, that's obviously not good. And you can live without muscle. However, there's a greater understanding today more than ever that high quality, high functioning muscle mass is a dramatically lowered work burden on your heart. And so an easy way for me to kind of explain this is for somebody that has a high lean mass or has lots of strength in their legs, everyday tasks are just easier. So if you think about me doing a simple air squat, my heart rate probably didn't even go up, maybe a tiny bit. Or when I walk to the mailbox or when I go up and down stairs, my heart rate probably stays pretty consistent. Because of how strong I am. There's very little work burden on my heart. Now, the extreme to that, if I'm in the gym and I put 250 pounds on a barbell and I do a back squat. Okay, obviously my heart rate's going to go up. That's a huge work burden on my heart. It's a stressor on my central nervous system. But imagine that if every time you went to the bathroom or got up and down from sitting on a chair at your desk, that you were basically putting that large of a work burden on your heart every single time. So you can imagine, when you go to the doctor's office and they say, you have a heart condition. Yeah, you might, but is it also because you simply just don't have enough high quality, high functioning muscle mass that every single time that you go to get up off the toilet or get up off of a chair, it's like doing a 1 rep max for your heart and for your organs and for your body. So I think, it's easy to get caught up in vanity and wanting to look a particular way or fit into a certain size of clothes, but things that we don't often think about is what muscle can do for our life, our longevity, being around for our kids. Those are all things I know when people walk into our doors that they say, I want to be able to keep up with my kids. Well, having more muscle is going to do that for you. I want to be able to be around for my kids. On the extreme side, with some people's health, I want to see my kids graduate from high school. Well, a good place to start is having more lean mass and getting stronger. I heard an interesting guy who studies a lot about muscle, and he was talking when he was in school. One of his professors, when you're in med school, they have a lot of algorithms like if this kind of then that. So as far as like medications go, if you have this and this and this kind of symptoms going on, prescribe this. But so often, especially today, we don't prescribe exercise. Think about, I can't tell you how many people that we've had here that have been on diabetic medication, blood thinners, cholesterol medication, and amazing that just by consistently working out and getting stronger, how they've reduced their medications or are not taking medications at all anymore. So instead of, when we go to the doctor thinking about what medications can I take, let's look at exercise. Not sleeping well, exercise. It's not like I'm saying it's a cure-all for everything, but it's definitely a place that we should be considering about starting with exercise. Maybe you need medication at the beginning, but you should be medication and exercise. Muscle mass goes a long way for your quality of life. The things that you can do to live life to the fullest requires you to be in shape. If you want to go climb a mountain and see the most spectacular views of your life, it's going to require you to have strength in your legs and to be in shape in order to do those things. So I can't stress enough the importance of muscle. And then lastly, you might not know this, but muscle is like your garage. I'm sure many of you guys store all sorts of things in your garage: lawnmower, tools, bikes, so on and so forth. Well, muscle acts just like your garage, but for proteins and amino acids. So it's kind of like a storage for amino acids that your body can kind of dip into when it needs to create, for instance, like immune cells. So if you wonder, well, why do people that are leaner and in shape, why don't they get as sick often? Well, they have this huge tool shed or garage of amino acids, and amino acids make up things like immune cells and antibodies. So when they sit on a bench and they pick up germs, they have this huge garage or storage of amino acids that their body can quickly make antibodies and immune cells to combat and fight off the bacteria that they picked up off of the bench or in the gym, wherever. So that's another thing that you might not think about is muscle also, or amino acids also make up GLUT4 transporters, which is your body, one of the ways that your body regulates blood sugar. It's just like a transporter that allows sugar to be brought into the cell. So people that have more muscle mass have more amino acids and are easily or more can more easily adapt and regulate their blood sugar. So just another reason why having more muscle is more important. You have a bigger storage of amino acids that your body can pull from. So hopefully that gives you guys a few reasons and why you should want more muscle besides just looking good and feeling good and having confidence away from the gym. Here are some reasons why it's going to improve your health as well. If you have any questions on the things that I talked about, make sure that you find me in the gym. Like I said, I love talking about this stuff. All right, see you guys back at the box.